How are you, my dear?
Good
Good.
morning,
I'm so
Angela.
sorry you're in that big sweater and I'm sleeveless.
I know, and you're all nice and tan.
Doesn't quite
Oh,
seem fair.
no, I'll put my sweater on. How about that?
Oh, I wish I was in a tank top. I'm telling you. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Angela, if I was down where you were, I'd
Good.
probably be doing this from the beach.
Oh, soon that snow is going to melt, but I heard some more is coming this weekend.
It is. I think Bruce said it's supposed to start tonight and go all the way kind of through tomorrow, maybe another 2 to 5 inches. And yeah.
Yes.
Every year I go through this. I go, why do I live here? And then obviously the pros and cons to wherever you are win out. But yeah, it's hard
I'm
to
a
take.
huge Prince fan, and he has that song, Sometimes It Snows in April. I think he needs to change it to May, maybe, if he were still
Global
around.
warming is like, I'm not seeing the signs of it.
Right? I know.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, are you guys have what, Parade of Homes or anything? Is that this weekend?
Yeah, well, doesn't
Okay.
it go on down there?
Yeah, ours is later. I think it's like April.
Yeah, ours started last weekend, goes till the 2nd of April.
Okay. Wow. Are you like working are you doing actual work for that or not
I
necessarily?
used to be a parade jockey for a while. If you know me well enough, that is the worst thing for me to do is sit in a confined area for 6 hours a day. I go
Absolutely.
nuts.
I mean, for those of us that are, repping for builders, I mean, it's the necessary evil, but yeah, it's not my favorite.
Yeah. So for you, you'll be repping for sitting in a parade model then?
Yeah, for our development down here. So yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
The parade's been busy, I guess. A lot of remodel ideas is what I've been hearing. So
Oh, good.
that's
Well, you know what? I mean, I think that's kind of going to be the market we're in, right? I mean, either
I
people
agree.
with the rates coming up, people are going to either opt to stay and do some things, or they move because they have to move. So yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, Christine. Hey, Diane.
Hi, guys. Hey,
Pam,
Matt.
how are you?
Hi.
Good to
Hi.
see you.
All right. Well, I think we'll just kind of hang tight. I think one more minute here. We'll see who else pops on, and then we'll kind of get going so we can be mindful of everybody's time. So just give it one more minute.
We always call it realtor time.
Yes. I am like juggle water, you guys. This is like my new thing. I hate water. It's like, holy water to a vampire. We don't mix, right? So my new thing is I have to make myself drink water. So if you see the jug come out, I apologize.
So you're gonna have to pee. Pretty
Yeah,
soon. Yeah.
exactly. It's like I started this really a couple days ago because I'm just horrible at it. But anyway,
Hi,
I'm
Jen.
I'm forcing myself, right? But yes, I'm running to the bathroom then every 20 minutes because you know how that goes. All right, it is 9:00. So let's get this show on the road. So first of all, everybody, thank you so much for, participating, joining the Facebook page, joining this mastermind today. If you guys haven't officially joined the Facebook page, I would encourage you to do that because, I know we're not going to be able to make these sessions every week just because our schedules are crazy, but we're recording these. And our plan is we'll post them in the Facebook page. So that way, if you couldn't attend in person, you can at least go back and watch it and hopefully get some good nuggets from each week's session. So again, join the Facebook page if you haven't, and Bruce can put the link to that in the chat. Bruce is my techie guy. He's going to be monitoring the chat today. So if there are any questions or any links or things that we want to share or any takeaways from the session, he'll put that in the chat box for you guys for your own personal knowledge there. I'm going to be looking at my notes here so I don't forget to do this. Also, one thing I would love for you to do is if you could in the chat, just put your email and your phone number in there. That way, we'll have that if we ever need to get a hold of you guys or send anything out. That would be fantastic. So
we also want to check up on you to make sure that if you're not here for a couple of weeks, that everything's okay.
Nothing's happened. Yeah.
I did put the Empire Facebook page in the chat, just so you know.
Thank you. So you guys, I have been honestly wanting to do this for so long. Hey, Jen. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and actually Angela and Damian Trofimovich from the city is kind of lit my fire. He started doing some great masterminds and some agent sessions up in the cities that I attended, and I finally just said, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. So thank you, Angela. Thank you, Damian. And here we are. So this group is only going to be as good as we all are. There's some of us that have many, many years of experience in this business, and some of us are somewhat new. So we're going to have some great perspectives, but hopefully we learn a lot and can really just get some best practices going. So just some quick housekeeping guidelines as we go through these, just for the success of them is, if you're not going to be talking, if we can all just keep ourselves on mute, just so that it doesn't distract from the presentation or the sessions. If you do have an urgent question at all as we're going through, the goal is that we're going to do some kind of a presentation of some sorts for a little bit every week, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A and discussion afterwards, hence the mastermind. But if you do have something urgent that you have a question of, either do the little raise your hand thing, or put your question in the chat. Again, Bruce will be monitoring that. So, we'll make sure that we're trying to address any questions that you guys have. And of course, if you're having any technical difficulties, throw that in the chat too, so that we can try to help address those. And the last thing is just have some patience. This is our first attempt at this, so we'll get better and better every week as we go. But just have some patience with us as we go through it. So just a quick introduction. A lot of you guys already know me. Some of you don't. I have been in the business for a long time. I was a mortgage loan officer for 10 years and then got my real estate license. So total, I've been in this industry about 27 years now, 17 of those actually selling. I started as a home builders rep here in Minnesota, so doing custom home builds, and then got into the full-on real estate with resales as well. So I was with Keller Williams for about 16 years, and then a year ago moved over to eXp Realty, and served on master faculty groups, agent leadership council. I'm currently on the state of Minnesota Agent Advisory Council for eXp. Was a productivity coach. So a lot of training and teaching is part of my passion. That's really my passion. So that's why I'm super excited to get this group started. So my team consists of myself and my husband, Bruce. He is really kind of the wizard behind the curtain, so to speak. He kind of is the glue that keeps us together from running the business. And I'm kind of more the face person out there dealing with clients. So Bruce, maybe give a little bit about yourself, and you can kind of do a little intro.
Hey everybody, Bruce Domaille. Yeah, I'm monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, phone numbers, emails, just throw them in there. I do all of our back end. So all of our marketing, advertising, taking clients from contract to close, and pretty much anything but selling, and I'll chip in when I need there too. So
he's my techie guy. So
that's why I'm
awesome.
here.
And then we also, just as a side note, our daughter's in the business too. She's a commercial broker up in the Twin Cities area. So it's kind of all in the family here. So
Hey, she's on here too.
yay.
Hey, Kenzie.
Oh, I didn't see her.
Hi.
Okay, awesome. Hi, honey. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Awesome. So anyway, thanks again, everybody. We will get going. So today we want to talk a little bit about the shift in the market. We are not in a full-blown shift yet, but we are definitely starting to see the signs. And I'm sure you all could think of some of those, right? Obviously, the higher interest rates have that's one sign, right? A change in the market trend. We're starting to see a little slowdown in showings and activity and whatnot. So some of those things are signs of what's to come. We still have a lot of low inventory right now, so we're not going to shift completely away from a seller's market just yet, but we are definitely seeing signs of things changing. There are three types of markets, right? We're in our seller's market, we're still there. We're in a balanced market, or we're in a buyer's market. And we aren't quite to that balanced market, but we're starting to see that shift a little bit. So today, that's what we want to talk about is as we look to a full shift potentially happening, what are some of the things that we can do to shift proof our business, right? Any market that we're in, buyer, seller, balanced, is an opportunity market. There's opportunities for people out there, no matter what type of market it is. It's just who's going to get the opportunity, right? But our job is to shift proof our business so that we can excel in really any type of business. So I'm going to actually just share my screen here. I'm going to kind of throw up a little PowerPoint. It'd probably be easier for us to follow through here. So hang on one second. Let me do this. And I will get that started for you. Okay, so shift is a happening here. So the first thing that we want to do, you guys, when there's any type of a shift where our business might slow down a little bit, we want to really take some time and review our expenses. The going was good, or the getting's good, basically for the last 3 years. You had to almost be living under a rock, I think, to not be successful in this business, right? The business was finding us. We didn't have to go find the business. And now we really have to kind of get back to the basics, focus on what we had to do before, right? Start going out and getting that business and finding it. But more importantly, really looking at our business and reviewing it to see its health right now, and where can we cut the fat. So you really need to look at where are you spending your money, whether it's lead generation opportunities, equipment, apps, programs, all of that stuff. And are you getting the return on investment that you're expecting, right? You want to look at each one of those expenses and say, is that every dollar that I'm spending on that, am I getting $1 back plus a reasonable amount of profit on that? And if you're not getting profit back on what you're what you're spending, then you really need to cut that and get it out of your business model, right? And that's sometimes really hard to do. I know years ago, Bruce and I used to do the Zillow ads and, not ads, leads, pay for the leads. We have to look at everything that we're spending. And we found that we just weren't getting that good return on investment. We were spending more on what we got back, or we were breaking even, and breaking even isn't a good expense, right? So you just want to make sure that you're really getting the return that you're expecting. So I want all of you guys to just take a second and think about, in your business, what's one thing that I went to the convention and I got caught up in the, woohoo, the new gadget, the new toy, the whatever, I signed up for it, and I really am not using it. I'm spending money on it, and it's just an expense going out the door. Can y'all think of maybe one thing that you could probably eliminate from your business right now? I know we probably could do a few, but we actually go through this practice every year, not just through a shift, but really just look at those things. And if it's not bringing you back the money, get rid of it. So the next concept is the red light, green light concept, right? So when the getting's good, like we've been 2 or 3 years now, we've had a lot of extra money to do some extra things, spend some extra money on some fun, maybe programs, more lead generation. Well, we've had the green light, right? So we have the money, we can go ahead and spend the extra money. Well, if we start to experience a shift and things slow down and you're not getting the business that you're getting, and revenue is a little bit less, then you have to shift to the red light, right? Where maybe, okay, I'm going to just kind of stay with status quo. We're not going to be spending any more money. So you always want to be leading with revenue, not with expenses. Okay. The other thing is, nothing is untouchable. So when you're looking through your expenses, it's not just the subscriptions, the apps, the programs, the equipment. It's also people. And that's a tough one because, it's hard to look at maybe staff or team members and whatnot and make cuts. But if you've got a team or if you've got people that are part of your organization, and they're not meeting their expectations or the goals or standards that you've set, you really need to cut that fat. I'm going to give you an example personally. This, COVID wasn't really a shift, but it was of sorts. When COVID first hit, we were not sure what was going to happen, right? We didn't even know if real estate was going to be, the essential business. And that was kind of scary right away when that came out. And Bruce and I did a total, sit down and look at our business and holy moly, we don't know what's going to happen. And so we need to make our machine very lean. And so one of the things, we had an administrative assistant at that time, and we had to decide, were we maximizing our productivity to the nth degree before we could have this extra person? And that was one area where we decided we had to cut, not knowing what to expect, going forward. So it's a tough call sometimes. But again, those are big expenses that can really weigh your business down in a tight market. So again, nothing is untouchable. Okay. Any questions on that? Bruce, anything in the chat?
Nope, nothing so far.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. The next thing during the shift is you guys really need to know your numbers. So not only are you managing your expenses that we just talked about, you really need to manage your income. And this is a tough one. This is a concept that I think a lot of agents don't do. When that money comes in, do you know how much of your income coming in is needed for your expenses? So, we don't get the paycheck like everybody else does, where all those things are already taken out and now what you're getting is your income, right? We get that commission check. And, when you look at that commission check, do you know how much goes for taxes and insurance and all your expenses for lead generation, payroll, and profit? I mean, do you know how much goes to profit, which most of us don't even think about it that way? It's really hard to know when you just throw all your commission checks into your account and you're looking at your account balance. Do you know how much of that is going to be needed for your expenses and what you're actually going to have left to grow your business? There's a really good book that it's called Profit First. And we learned about it. Thanks, Bruce. We learned about it a couple of years ago. And the concept of this book it's fantastic. What it does is it actually teaches you to pay your profit to your business first. And then it actually tells you how to create buckets for all your individual expenses, right? Your bucket for your taxes, your bucket for your lead generation, your bucket for all these things, so that what's left and not in a bucket is exactly what you have left for your profit and what you have left to now grow your business. And so we actually started doing this a couple years ago, and it's been fantastic. And we're actually probably going to do a whole mastermind just on this book alone, because the system is so good. And Bruce, you're going to put a link to this book in the chat. I would highly encourage you guys to check this book out. And like I said, we'll do a mastermind on it at some point in time. Okay. So knowing your expenses and knowing your income and how that all relates, right, is important. But you also need to know your market. And as real estate professionals, you guys, we have to get very intimate with our knowledge on the market trends. Do you know like what's happening? Are days on market increasing or decreasing? Are values increasing or decreasing? Are millennials still buying at a high rate? Things like that. Those are trends that we have to be really knowledgeable. And why is this important? It's important because we're supposed to be the local experts, right? And when you're running into people on the street, your friends, your family, your clients, when they ask you questions, you need to know what's going on in order for them to feel confident that you are competent at what you do, right? The second thing is where are you getting that information? You should have several data points on where you're getting your information. Down here in southeastern Minnesota, our local board here puts out data on a monthly basis. They do a great job. You can get information from your state level, the national level, NAR. You should have resources in your arsenal like mortgage professionals where they can be giving you the up-to-date information that they're hearing. So what are those data points and where are you getting your information? I think I talked about this. There was a panel down here a month ago for CMAR that I was on. There is a gentleman in the mortgage industry. His name is Barry Habib, and he's very famous. If you guys are tapped into that at all, he's, I think Angela is the one that turned me on to him. He's been given a lot of awards as, the Crystal Ball Awards for being probably one of the best predictors of what's going on because he really studies the market. Bruce, I want you to put there's a video of his that Angela Howard had sent me, and it's a long video, I'm not going to lie, but it is fantastic in terms of really understanding why the rates are where they're at and how these guys are good at predicting where they're going to go based on inflation and other indicators. So I would highly encourage you guys to watch that so that you just really have a better understanding of why those rates are where they're at and how they get there so that you can actually talk about that when people ask you. But anyway, just find several good, very accurate data points so that you know what's going on. Also, it's important because this is, again, what makes you an expert in your field. So you know what you're saying and you can back it up. But it's important because we have to educate our buyers and sellers. When we have this shifting market, which we're starting to see, we have to be able to tell buyers and sellers what's going on and set those expectations. I mean, I can guarantee you most of us right now are having conversations with our sellers about, today, this isn't how it was 6 months ago or 8 months ago. You can't just, name your price and you're going to get 20 grand over asking price or 50 grand over asking price with guarantees on those offers, of a appraisal gap. It's changed a little bit from that. And again, every local market might be a little bit different. We might be seeing that still in some areas or in certain price points. But it definitely has changed even from 6 or 8 months ago. So are we setting those expectations with our sellers that things have softened a little bit? Are we setting the expectations with our buyers that, hey, good news, you guys, you have a little breathing room now. You can actually have an inspection. You can, you don't have to pay 20 grand over list price. So you might actually be able to make an offer and have a seller pay your closing costs. So we have to be aware of what's going on so that we can be the best advocates and guides for our clients. Okay. Any questions on that, you guys? Hope I heard a bling bling. Anybody? Okay. Awesome. So what do we do with our...
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Rochelle asked, do you have a system for exactly what market stats you capture and track?
Well, I mean, I use, like I talked about, I look at what CMAR is producing. I look at what NAR is doing, putting out. I am on a lot of these types of masterminds and collaborating calls on a weekly basis. So I'm, hearing what's going on a national level. And I would encourage you guys to do that, get involved in groups outside of our market. Like I love this one. We're getting people from all over, not just in Minnesota. So, we'll learn a lot from our peers in the industry as well. Okay, double down on what works. So, right now I would just definitely say we can all think of the top lead generation source that's bringing in the most amount of business for us. And think about that right now. What is it? What is bringing you in the best amount of money? For Bruce and I know it's definitely our sphere of influence. We get about 80% of our business from referrals from our sphere. So I would say whatever that is for you guys, you need to just double down on that and just go all in on it. I should say we do a lot of weekly meetings and chats about how can we just continue to love on our sphere. We want to just love on them like crazy, because that's what makes us the money. So whatever that is, right? You don't need to be a jack of all trades. That saying, be the jack of all trades, but a master of none. You just need to be the master of one. So whatever that is, go all in. There's a girl in EXP that, swear to God, she makes her whole living just on open houses. And I mean, that's not my gig. That won't be something that I'll be doing because I can't stand them. But she literally does open houses, and she does it at such a high level that is her thing. That's what makes her money. So, if you're a door knocker, if you're, you love your sphere of influence and doing client events, whatever that is, find what you like to do, because if you like it, it will be so much easier to do consistently and relentlessly. Okay. So just keep focusing on what works, and you don't have to do 100 different things. And there's no right or wrong answer, you guys. You just pick the one that works. Okay. Whoops. Did I go backwards here? Okay. Sorry. Okay. The shift also, depending on the shift, right, is things, if we're in a shift that's slowing down and we're going more towards, buyer control, we're going to have a little bit more time on our hands. So with that time, I would say this is definitely when you want to work on your skill sets and improving what you need to improve. So we need to get back to those basics, right? Anyone could have succeeded a few years ago. We have to go and find that business. So how will you get better at finding the business? Do you need to practice scripts and better lead conversion? Is this the time where maybe you want to work on beefing up your buyer consultation, or developing a buyer consultation or a listing presentation? Now's the time to do it. I would highly recommend that you find a role play partner, you collaborate with other agents, the old R&D, what used to be research and development, we call it rob and duplicate. People have done this before you. Find someone who's willing to share their information, their consultation, their presentation. You don't have to develop things all on your own. There's so much stuff out there that you can just take something that you like and tweak it and make it your own. If you're a new agent and you don't have a ton of business right now, this is a great time to really hone in on learning your paperwork, role-playing presentations, role-playing with a partner on, just scripts and getting better to convert leads into business. And also just getting familiar with maybe writing offers and just getting used to that paperwork. The other thing right now, when you have a little bit more time, is really look at where you can leverage your business. What are the things that you need? I know we talked about controlling expenses, so I'm not talking about going out and necessarily spending money, but where can you leverage your time and the needs that you have for your business? And you can do that through masterminds like this, right? Or additional collaboration efforts, where hopefully you pick up a few nuggets that make your business a little bit easier. Technology, swear to God, every day I get on the computer, there's new things, there's new programs that are coming out, new apps, new technology that will make our business easier, that are free, so you don't have to necessarily spend money, but look at the ones that will really make an impact in your business and implement those. And then lastly, are there new hires that your business could make that will free up your time? Our time is definitely money. So, where can you leverage your time in a way that fits into your budget, or your expenses for the year, so that you can be freed up to do what's best for you guys. Okay. And lastly, focus and mindset. Who are you surrounding yourself with? As things shift, we start to hear, oh, it's changing, and oh my gosh, the interest rates are so high and this is going to suck, right? I mean, we're hearing a lot of doom and gloom out there. So are you creating that bunker around yourself with the right people. And, is your environment supporting your focus? So, when we think about that, if you're going to be around whiners and complainers and the sky is falling kind of people, that's obviously not going to be good for you, right? That whole law of attraction, or what you focus on, expands. If you're in that doom and gloom scenario, that's what you're going to attract to yourself, and that's what you're going to get. Or are you around the doers and the go-getters and the people who are like, this is, we're going to invent a new way to do it if we can't do it the old way. So think about who you're surrounding yourself with. That saying of whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So what are you thinking and what are you telling yourself? Because your mindset does matter. And you need to just be in the right frame of mind as we get through that shifting market, so that you've got what it takes and you have the right mindset to move yourself forward. Okay. Any questions on that? Awesome. So all of these things that we just talked about are definitely important on their own. But together, they're really going to help you shift proof your business and really prepare you for having the business that will last the test of time, and being successful in no matter what market that you're in. Okay. So there is my quick little presentation on some key points that you should be considering or doing as we start to see the signs of a shift. And now I just would say let's open it up for any questions or any discussion points. Anything anybody's doing out there that you think is important to get you through this shift. Anyone? Jen, I know you're not afraid to talk. What are you doing? What are you seeing in your market there that's maybe different, or a sign of a shift that's making you take some action?
So I don't know if most of you probably know that I've had some health things going on in the last, 2023 has kind of sucked. So I want to do over. But and my business just kind of went, and so I'm trying to get that train going again. My train just completely stopped. And so now I'm trying to, figure out what's the best bang for my buck at this point, basically, where to start, where to get the best results. And what I've been seeing is I see a lot of agents that are going further away than their normal little bubble.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants business. I've been seeing a lot of new names, in our areas. So I think that getting back to the basics and just, really loving on your sphere, because I haven't been doing that. What Not to Do by Jennifer Walsh. But I've seen a little bit longer days on market. I see less multiple offers. However, in the Austin area and the Owatonna area, I've been seeing now in the last week a lower days on market. So it was getting a little bit higher, and now all of a sudden, I think we're just on the cusp of the spring market really exploding again.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree. I mean, I think we saw maybe through the holidays, things really kind of slowed down almost to a halt. And everyone was like, what's going on? And the economists were saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay. By maybe midway through the year, we're going to see kind of rates settle. And then we got through the holidays, and I saw activity really start to pick up. But now we're hearing the economists, Bruce and I were just talking yesterday, that they're saying maybe rates won't settle down just yet. Inflation isn't behaving like they thought it might. So it may be a little bit longer before we see a settle in those interest rates. So, that may really continue to be the impetus to some changes that we're starting to see. Anybody else seeing any changes? Mackenzie, how about you in the commercial realm? I know that's a little bit different, but are you guys seeing a shift at all in activity or changes?
Yeah, for sure. I would say, so for anybody who doesn't know me, I work commercially up here in the cities. I'm on a boutique firm that we focus on specifically industrial type properties. And if you follow the commercial world at all, you would know that commercial industrial real estate is kind of this hot spot right now. So I'd say we as an asset class mirrored most similarly what we saw in the residential market over the last few years. The crazy multiple offers, the over asking, the waiving of inspections, that was all happening in industrial, not necessarily office, certainly not office, not really retail, didn't really see it with multifamily. But the changes that we've seen certainly over the last year, I would say, is demand is still extremely strong. Again, speaking only from an industrial perspective, but it's lesser. Pricing has not dropped at all. It's just the amount of people offering on the properties has changed. You would think, though, that the pricing would have changed some with the increase in the interest rates, but that's just not been the case with the owner user market. Typically, when somebody buys a property commercially, I guess probably similar to a home, it's either an owner user or an investor. Where we did see the activity drop off would be in that investor play, because obviously the rates come more into the factor on that type of a purchase. A huge market over the last few years were the capital markets, so the big investment plays, and that has 100% tapered off. We've got a lot of lenders not able to make sense of the numbers and underwrite projects. We've got people that had land under contract, ready to go, either to build multifamily or to build 100,000, 200,000 square feet industrial big block warehouses. And those have completely come to a halt, and they've kind of avoided or not avoided, abandoned the project completely. So that's what we've seen up here.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of the similar things in the commercial. Generally, commercial follows residential. Maybe a year later or 2 years later, they start to kind of catch up to what we're seeing today. They'll follow, but you guys seem like you're kind of right in the trenches with us. Matt, did you have a comment or a question?
I did. I was going to say something to Jen. Do you think your pricing strategy has gotten better? Like, are you taking your number instead of being so high of actually saying like this is fair market value and going just below it to get those offers right away?
That was for you, Jen.
I pushed the button that says unmute. Yes. So I think, and overall, yes. Although, in the last couple months, I haven't been doing much business, but before, everything happened, definitely the pricing strategy is different. So, you can't go back 6 months anymore. You can go back maybe 90 days,
Right.
And it's hard. Pricing has always been really hard for me because I'm such an optimist. I'm like, oh, let's just do $1 million, and so I have to kind of rein myself in, to really go by the numbers. But
yeah, I think that's a really good point. I did a couple CMAs yesterday, and we're pulling comps. Generally, I look at the past 6 months, but that's you don't necessarily want to consider those properties that sold middle of last year. Because it is different, right? So, that goes back to educating our sellers. Like, hey, I looked at the comparables. However, these numbers might be just slightly elevated because I'm pulling some of those comparables from within the past 6 months. So again, knowing the trends, knowing what's happening, being able to educate your sellers on, yes, we're still low in inventory. So we still have the upper hand, but yet we aren't where we were 7, 8 months ago. We have to be realistic, right? And preparing them for, we might be able to try it, but just be prepared that if we're not getting the activity that we were hoping for, we may have to do some quick adjustments, right? Any other questions or comments? Angela, you have been doing lots of these. You are a coach, so you're very involved with lots of agents. Any nuggets you can share with us that maybe you're seeing out there?
Just talking with different agents, obviously there's fear, right? Fear creeps in quickly. And I think you have to be optimistic about the long term. And so anyone I talk to, yes, it's going through a rut, and we go through this like, okay, where's everything going? You hear this all the time. We heard this in our KW days. It's not a year, it's a career.
Yeah.
So I always emphasize that, but also back to what you said earlier, I think, just talking with agents and really encouraging them, the last 2 years was not real, is what I say. We were flooded with money because of PPP and all the money that was put into the market, right? And now we're starting to feel that with inflation. And so it was a lot easier to be a realtor because the phone was ringing and it was go, 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 go. And so now we have to shift our mindsets of how do you become disciplined with your time blocking. And like you said earlier, the strategies that work. So when I have conversations, with different people, I think it's getting back to that mindset of this is an education, you're a consultant, so know that data, but also just enhancing that relational touch as well. Do more face to face. The things that are going to get you in front of people, but your confidence is going to be so much higher if you understand what's going on. So my main thing is understand what's going on in your local area, like you said. So I think that's the most important time block to study the market so that you're more confident when you're educating your people. That's what I would say is just time block, market data, and you'll get more excited to help people, I think.
Absolutely. And, and we know when times get tough, when the market shifts and if we do go to a full blown shift here, clients are going to be looking for the experts, right? And if you don't know what's going on, that's when they're going to need us the most. And if we aren't out there and we aren't standing out amongst the sea of real estate agents that are out there that all got in the business when it was good, you're not going to get the business. So great point, Angela. Thank you. How about you? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Did somebody say something?
No, I was just going to say, if you walk away with one thing from here today, I think it's just, it is a shift. We are looking at it. We might be in it, who knows? We won't know that for another year. But get back in front of your database. Take them on and call them. Just talk to them. That's what they want. That's what they need right now. They need, like Kelly and Angela said, they need our assurances that the sky is not falling. And we've seen this. We've been through shifts before, and especially when Kelly and I got in the market. It was, we were working on the 2007, 2008. And we were surprised at how many people just said, you know what, you were the one that called me back. You were the one that talked to me. You were the one that answered my questions. And so that's why I'm working with you. So get back in front of your database and just talk to them. That's all they want. And build that easy little relationship, because you already have one. You don't have to start one.
And I will jump on that as well and say, not only relationships with your database and your clients, but with those allied resources in this industry. If you guys don't have that great lender in your back pocket that can be a resource for, right now we need some creative financing, right? Those rates are up there. How do we get our buyers in to the homes that they love and need and want without their fear and them backing away from the high interest rates? The saying, marry the house but date the rate. Can they still get the house they want but get in with a temporary type of financing situation that we know maybe within a few years, when rates settle down, they can lock into maybe a fixed rate situation. There's ARMs, there's buy downs. If you're not familiar with what those things are and how they work, you need to align yourself with a really great mortgage professional or lender that can help, right? That can provide you with those resources, that can take the fear away from your buyers and let them know it's going to be just fine. We're going to get you into that house with a very affordable payment and a way to make it work for you. So this is the time to do that, to really just reinforce those relationships. We've always said this is a relationship business. So this is now the time to strengthen those. So how about you, Pam? Is Pam still on here? Oh yeah, there you are, honey. How about your market down in Arizona? Are you guys feeling the same thing?
Not quite. So I think we felt it in the beginning about 6 months ago, but we're kind of shifting back a little, which is really nice. It definitely leveled out, going a little bit back to a seller's market, not like it was, but it's definitely going back. However, everything you guys are talking about, that's what I've had to do because I started in 2007, 2008 also. And so I've gone back to basics and used my resources as well. I've gone back to setting up. I remember when you were teaching the Keller Williams, the touches, I've totally gone back to my time blocking, because I got lazy because it was all coming to me. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say I got lazy. I think we were all working our butts off, but lazy on the other side of everything.
Right. I totally agree that we all got
Yes.
lazy on doing the lead, the basic stuff, the lead generating, the consistency of that, right? We didn't
Yes.
have to because, well, first of all, we probably didn't have time, or we didn't time block. We all have time, but we didn't time block that in our day, because we knew if we don't, we're still going to get a phone call or we're still going to get a referral or whatever, right? I mean, it was just too easy. So,
Or we
yeah.
had the time block at 10 to midnight to do other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great session that we should do
Yeah.
down the road, is just time blocking, and really talking about how to set your schedule up for success. A lot of us talk a good game, and yep, I'm one of those, like, yeah, I time block, and then I'm the first to squirrel, what do you need me to do? And then there I'm off, right? And what happens is that works for a while, but then you see the effects of that a month from now or 2 months from now, right? And we've all been in those classes where we've talked about that roller coaster of our business. And, that's definitely something we don't want. We don't want to be busy, 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 and then nothing, 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 and busy, 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 right? So if we just time block and we have that consistent daily activity to keep business in the hopper and keep things going, then our business will stay nice and steady. So we should do a total mastermind on that for sure. Any other comments or things that people are seeing or advice for the shift? You're all the experts, so come on.
I can say something.
Sure.
So kind of building off of what you guys had said about loving on your sphere and going back to the basics, I had found similarly in commercial, obviously when COVID hit, it was scary. People didn't know what to do. I would say maybe even potentially more so than residential, since it directly affected businesses and directly affected those, they were shut down. They didn't know what to do. And I had found, as we kind of came out of that, and particularly in industrial, money was flowing. People had been really reserved for a while and holding on to things. There was a lot of capital in the market and people wanted to go bonkers and spend it. So a lot of new agents had came in similarly to industrial. And it was kind of this question of, we're all scrapping for these off-market opportunities. We're all calling the same owners. We're all calling the same buyers, sellers, whatever, trying to somehow differentiate ourselves from the 50 other people that were probably calling this person. And I would say that in trying to do that, the thing that was successful for us, or for me and our team, and how we differentiated ourselves, was that consistency, continually responding very quickly when they did reaching out very frequently, tapping into the people that you had already pre-existing relationships with, because you knew that they were going to be getting 50, 60 calls a week on their properties, on their businesses. And frankly, I will say, as agents, to the average person, it is hard for them to differentiate how you are either better or worse or more experienced or non. And that consistency was 100% the key why we secured probably 80 to 90% of the business that we've done over the last few years.
Nice. So great concept or idea. How are you differentiating yourself? It goes back to knowing the market, knowing the trends, being the expert, but what else is going to make you guys stand out? When people need you most, why are they going to call you versus calling me? Right? There's a lot of people on this call here that are right in my immediate market, right? We're all fighting for that same business. My sphere of influence might be different than your sphere of influence, but at some point in time, if you're not in touch with your sphere of influence and you're not in front of them consistently, they're going to find somebody else, right? And they're going to move from yours to mine or from mine to yours. So we always have to stay in front of them and love on them. Like we said, just let them know that we're here. Okay. Anyone else?
I'll say something.
Yeah.
And I'm off camera because I got done working out right before I got here. So I don't think you want to see my headband and sweaty face. But I had made a copy of 10 strategies for a shift. I'm not going to go through the 10, but somebody wrote it and I didn't keep track of who wrote it. But the one that I really like is I will top grade my network. The people in my inner circle will support me on my journey and not lead me astray. So I think that is a really good exercise, is to look at who are the people closest to you and where can you make maybe some new connections or ask for those connections to top grade your network.
Awesome. I love that. There is an amazing gentleman in the industry. His name is Gene Rivers. And, I went to a talk of his at a convention, and he talked specifically about that actually the majority of his business comes from, I think it was 7 people. That's it. His 7 key A+ people that he knows, he would go to lunch with them once a week. They'd get together, they'd have lunch or coffee, but he was getting together with them once a week. And those 7 people made him, he does millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of business. And they provided, I think, like 80%, I believe was the percentage that he said, of his business. And it was because he was with them all the time, asking for the business. How can I help you? And here's how you can help me, right? So definitely, Rochelle, elevating the people that you know and asking them for help. People want to help you, right? People who know you and like you and trust you want you to succeed. So if you aren't afraid to say, hey guys, I need your help. I'm looking, anybody who's looking to buy or sell, or I've got this fantastic property out in the country. Do you know of anybody who's looking for acreage, right? Whatever that help is that you're looking for, don't be afraid to ask for it, and be in front of your people asking for help, because they want you to succeed for sure. Great mention, Rochelle. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other great tips for our shift?
Angela had something. She put something in the chat about a personal handwritten note card.
Yeah, Angela, you want to?
Sorry, I had to unmute there. It sounds so basic, and yet I asked this in the last coaching group that I did with another team. I asked them to raise their hand in the last 30 days if they had received a personal handwritten note card. And no one could, right? Now we were talking more like just a follow-up system, and no one could. And then I stretched them to, when was the last time you received one and how did it make you feel? So what if you just challenged yourself this month to come from a place of genuine in your heart? You see so much on Facebook. I don't know about all you, I get a little burnt out on social media, where if you see something and you literally took the time to do a personal handwritten note, because everybody is going through something, and I tell you, you really could make someone's day. So it's March, whatever, one a day.
Yep, for sure.
That's so good.
It's so simple.
I bought some, I love that, Angela. I'm inspired to do that. I bought some Girl Scout cookies that I was using as part of a gift for a pop by. And she was so cute. She was very professional. And she wrote me a thank you note that she put in the bag. And she said, thank you for ordering from me. And if you need any more, you know where to go. Well, I needed some more, so I went back to her.
Yeah, exactly. I love that idea. And we talked about that at a session I was with you, Angela, up in the cities. And we just talked about that personal touch. We've gotten so away from that. Technology, unfortunately, has just made it so much easier to do an email, of this or that. And it's taken away from that personal touch. And I think we lose a lot with that. And I know one thing I shared with that previous session and Angela was Bruce and I, in the beginning of the year, we put kind of a goal to, on a weekly basis, to reach out to people that we hadn't talked to, or when we go through and we scroll through the Facebook, someone's having a birthday, or someone's having a baby, or they're getting married, instead of like just a like or a comment, to do 10 texts, but they're voice texts, right? So get on there and just send a quick text like, hey, everybody has that technology on your phone. You can just come record your voice and say, hey, it's Kelly. I just wanted to tell you how exciting that is for you to have, your first baby. Congrats. That's awesome. Yada, yada. Right. And when you get that, I mean, that is such a game changer. I remember when I received one for my birthday a few years ago, I was like, wow. I mean, and I wasn't really even that close to this person, but I was so like blown away that they took the time to do a voice message to me versus just a quick happy birthday, on Facebook or a text. So I remembered that. And when we were in a collaborating mastermind and someone brought up this voice text, we were like, that is awesome. And it's so easy to do. Like, you could go the night before, go on your Facebook feed, or that morning, go on your Facebook feed and pick 10 events or 10 things that happened with your sphere or the people that and just shoot off a quick little voice text to them. I guarantee you are going to get so many more responses from that than you will ever even imagine. Any other like quick good ideas here while we've got a few minutes left here, just to maybe stay in touch with your peeps?
Well, I would just say it's been such a long winter, right, in Minnesota. I'm sorry, I'm not experiencing that. No, I'm not sorry. Working with agents, even last couple of years, spring's around the corner, something with the little seeds or some little Popeye, just pick even 10 people. I always reference this site. If you haven't heard of it, it's marketdwellings.com, or I think that's what it is. Or if you go on Instagram, Market Dwellings. They have the cutest sayings and cutest ideas that you can just R&D. So I would say a nice little touch like that would be good for spring in Minnesota.
Awesome. Gwen, were you going to say something earlier?
I'm driving. Sorry, no.
Okay, sorry.
I put the link to that book, the first book you referenced from YouTube, in the chat. So I have a lot of driving today, so I thought I could start listening to that, the Profit book. I forget what it's called.
Awesome. Yeah, we will definitely do a mastermind on that because it is just fantastic. So, and I'm sure there's plenty of things out there and programs and systems to just help you kind of organize your income and expenses, but we just found this one to be really good. So, well, good. Well, number one, so appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to be a part of this. Obviously it's going to be a great mastermind when you guys contribute. So thank you for those that are sharing your ideas and your best practices. Next week, just a little quick tag for next week. I'm going to have Bruce be our host. He is the tech guru. And so we're going to share a bunch of new tech apps and gadgets and things that we have learned over the last year that have really made a big difference in our business. So hopefully you can find a few things that you really like or maybe could use to help you grow your business. So I will post that in our Facebook group. Again, if you haven't joined the Facebook group and you just got this link, go into the Facebook group and join so that you can, we'll post the takeaways. We'll post some links and things that we're talking about in our sessions to make it a little bit easier for you. Okay. So with that, I will say have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your day with us. And we will see you next week, Wednesday.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Kelly and Bruce.
All right. Take care, you guys. Good to see your faces. All right.
See you guys. Thanks for coming.